So as we discuss innovation, and it can be the solution to the most important issues we face or a distraction and a sideshow. And a lot of that comes from the fact that great technologies can be used to just basically be a waste of time or to address the most important things we need in society. So as I say, it's remarkable innovation, perhaps, and some of the things we see, for instance, that technology can be unpredictable and astonishing simultaneously, right? There's no way we can really sort of understand all the uses as technology is developed. And one of the things that happens is technological innovation, scientific discovery, all of these things then lead to developments that maybe were unforeseen. So for instance, one of the advantages that we see in modern scientific discovery is we'll just start with a couple of things. The discovery of the laws of thermodynamics, right? Basic physics. But that discovery enabled us to have essentially steam and heat powered machinery, which enabled an industrial revolution. And then the discovery of electromagnetism and the understanding of electricity, the electrical grid, and how that basically powers modern society, right? And then now when we see sort of the nanotechnology, but really quantum mechanics, and it's the understanding of quantum mechanics, which enables modern electronics and enables us each to have a supercomputer in our pocket. All that was basic scientific discovery that then led to these enormous impacts on society by applying that technology. Well, so now we have critical issues today. Climate crisis is one, sort of health stresses, food stresses, lots of issues that become very critical existential issues. But then we also have TikTok, right? So people have great technology in their pockets they use to just make these short snippet videos that are fundamentally meaningless. So the problem is that we know that scientific innovation can really be the spark that addresses so many societal issues and makes life better for so many people, right? The problem is that we think, well, let's guide that research. Let's figure out, well, what should we have? What should we do? How do we kind of just point so that any research has an application in mind before the research has even begun? Well, this is bad thinking because we just don't know where these applications can go. And when the laws of thermodynamics were understood by physicists, we didn't understand what that would lead to, but it led to the steam engine, right? So guided research is a mistake. It's always inefficient, and this Greek philosophy that says, well, if you're looking for something, that's all you'll find, right? So don't look for anything. And that rule should really apply to technological innovation and research. We discover things, and then we can see what we can then do with those things, but it shouldn't be the other way around. It's an inefficient process, and sometimes people are intolerant of that inefficiency. So the problem is, we sort of, queuing off something that happened recently, people think that we can make an impact by just making publicity. Well, that's the TikTok generation, perhaps. But throwing a pie at the Mona Lisa is not going to solve climate change. We know those issues exist, but it's hard work, innovation, difficult technologies, it's new challenges. And by the way, we know that whatever technologies we have currently, those are not going to solve our climate crisis, for example. We need to have a fundamental innovation that no one has envisioned yet. People are working on basic science, basic discovery, and that's where the encouragement should be. And energy should not be wasted by simply creating publicity because somehow you care, and the fact that you care should solve a problem in some way. That's real stupidity. So, as Arthur Clarke once said, there is very little distinction between technology and magic sometimes, and it is magic. And the one great advantage to technology over magic is that technology is real. It's something that is actually happening, right? And getting back to our theme of you just couldn't have envisioned these things. Well, when Dr. Shockley discovered or developed the transistor with his team at Bell Labs, they had no idea what the applications could ultimately be. They had just developed it, patented it, and then years later it was applied, right? And the same thing with Martin Cooper, a name you may not be familiar with, but it was Martin Cooper who made the first mobile phone call, right? So there was a race between Motorola and AT&T to develop the mobile phone. Motorola won. Martin Cooper was the key scientific researcher and he placed the first mobile phone call. Well, he still probably couldn't have imagined what that would really lead to in terms of global communication and personal communication devices. And then even the iPhone, the team that developed the iPhone, did they really understand what was happening, how the iPhone would be much more than a phone? I mean, to call it a phone is kind of silly. It really discounts the great applications that the iPhone enables. It's essentially a supercomputer in your pocket. So a combination of all this, when it comes to the magic involved, it really is luck, it's timing, it's opportunity. Great things can be developed. You can be ahead of your time. There may not be a market available, but ultimately those innovations can occur. And maybe Apple is a great example of that. The innovations that Apple really exploited, well, they all came from Xerox PARC, right? So Xerox had the mouse, they had the graphical user interface, they had all of these basic technologies, but they didn't quite know how to exploit it. So there's a bit of luck and opportunity involved, but still it was that fundamental approach to research where ultimately great innovations can occur. So the key here is it's unpredictable. It takes brilliance for sure. Innovation is difficult, it's challenging, it's not easy to do, it can't be directed. Right? So what we are saying is while it can be astonishing and unpredictable, it also leads to commercial models which really do more than anything want to keep an audience and generate commercial revenue via advertisements and other things. That may not be the best and brightest used for society itself, but that inefficiency is combined with that brilliance, and then ultimately you have a sideshow. You'll always have unintended consequences. You'll always have negative effects of technology. There is a balance sheet to everything, but there is a positive and negative ledger. But the positive ledger can be so positive because ultimately it is where our best solutions can occur, and it's what we should be thinking of as the most important development is basic discovery, basic innovation, and then let the brilliant people find the applications that ultimately will address our most serious problems.